All right, let's just go with it. Let's talk. What's up, my Diversity in Cinema Academy fam? I'm Thada Catalan, and this is the place to be if you are a filmmaker, screenwriter, or video creator. So coming up with ideas for your business or a movie project can sometimes be challenging, especially if you don't have a real strategy in place. So today we are going to discuss ideas. Okay, so I'm going to give you a behind the scenes look at my process of creating my online course, Leveling Up Your Film Business. I've been working on it for some time now, I think since last July. So it's been a process, even though I kind of paused for a minute to do something else. I released my workbook, I released my notebook. So that was a part of the reason why it took me so long. But I am going to give you a behind the scenes look on that. This is going to be probably a 10 to 12 part series that I will release every Friday. Now, I'm not 100% sure on the whole 10 to 12 videos at this point because, I'm still in the idea phase as far as this YouTube series is concerned. So we'll just have to see on that. But that leads me to what we're going to be talking about today is the idea phase. Now, I want this video to be a little bit more relaxed. One thing that I noticed is that you can tire out on a certain style of video. And so I wanted this to feel a little more vlog style, like you getting to know me, because that's what I feel like when you're looking at vlogs is that you really or getting to know the person, and you can get, I feel like you can get to know who I am professionally, and you can also get to know who I am as a person when I'm creating these style of videos. And that's why I think the whole behind the scenes look will give you that experience. So what I notice is that a lot of these vloggers or, people who are on YouTube is that they always start their morning with something like, I don't know, like they're juicing or they're creating coffee or they're making smoothies. And I don't do any of that. What do y'all do in the morning? I used to, meditate and do yoga, which honestly I want to get back to doing because I felt like I was more grounded. I was obviously on top of my weight when I was doing my yoga and stuff like that. So I was like, maybe I do need to add that back to my morning routine. But my morning routine is pretty much I get up, I brush my teeth, I put on some clothes, and then I do come downstairs here to get, me basically a drink of water. Dang, I thought I had some warm water in there. I typically like first thing in the morning, I like warm water, well, room temperature water. But I'm just going to get about a cold water. And a lot of times when I do these videos, my mouth does get dry. So that's another reason why I'm going to get water while I'm shooting these videos so I won't get dehydrated. So like I said, my morning usually starts off with me getting a bottle of water and then I just get to work. That's what I do. So let's get to work. Okay, as I share my process of how I created my online course, Leveling Up Your Film Business, I am going to show you how it parallels with starting a movie project, because every great business venture or movie project starts with an idea and then you develop that idea. So let's get into it. Now, let's take a look at several techniques that I use during the idea stage of creating Leveling Up Your Film Business. It's going to be broken down into 3 parts, and each part have several techniques that you can use to help you during your idea stage. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button and the notifications so you can get notified every single time I upload a video to share with you. Okay, so in this section, we are going to be discussing brainstorming. Now, I know a lot of you are like,
girl, I know what brainstorming is. I've been brainstorming since grade school.
And I get it. We all learned what brainstorming is. And it's, it's basically us getting our ideas out. We get a notebook, one like future icon leading motion pictures notebook that you can get on Amazon. Anyway, so if you see me displaying this is just something that I created and I take notes in it. It's perfect, it's sleek, it's professional, and that's why I created it for filmmakers, so they can have something to take notes in and get all those brilliant ideas out of your head. So anyway, but when you're brainstorming, a lot of times we're just kind of like all over the place. We don't have like a real technique. And that's what I want to talk about today. One of the first things that you should do when you are brainstorming is just do a purge. Get it all out. So say for instance, with leveling up your film business, I was like, what do I want to do with this? Do I want to teach a course on producing? Do I want to teach a course on production management, directing, business plans, pitch decks? You know, it's just so many course ideas was popping into my head. So that is what you do, and you just have fun with it. You know, you don't edit yourself, whether it's something silly. And it's the same thing with, you know, YouTube. Like, you know, like I said, when in my notebook, I started taking all kind of notes on what I wanted to do for YouTube. I was like, okay, how are you gonna approach that? You know, are you gonna do vlog style? I want to do skits, obviously tutorials. I want to do so many different things that help assist you, and that's what you do. You just write it all down. Now you're probably like, okay, cool, now I know how to brainstorm. So then the next section that you need to consider, where do your ideas come from? So sometimes we can get, you know, like writer's block when we're trying to think about different ideas, because it's like,
I don't know, I'm so confused. Like, I mean, what do people want to know about?
okay, well, first think about what did you want to know about. And so that's how, when I was doing leveling up your film business, I was like, okay, what were some of the things that I wish I knew when I first started out? And so for instance, with me, I had a bad distribution deal, and I was working with a distributor, well, a sales agent, excuse me. He was a sales agent, and he basically robbed me. I don't know how much money he made off of my first movie, Because I Love You, but he sent me a bad check, and then it bounced in my account, and you know, I went back and forth with him and everything, and his company eventually went bankrupt or whatever. But how much money did he actually get before he did so many people wrong and he had to go bankrupt? I don't know. So anyway, but that was an experience that I'm like, you know what? I need to tell people about that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want anybody else to go through anything like that. Okay, so I'm going through the edit, and I just wanted to jump in and say that I did get my film back from that shady ass sales agent, and it Because I Love You is now being self-distributed, and you can check it out it's currently on Tubi and Amazon. So that's how I just started coming up with ideas. Is like, what kind of personal experiences that I have gone through that I wish I've known ahead of time. And that takes me to, you know, like when people hit me up in my inbox or, you know, DM me about certain things that they're going through and they need answers, and I'm like, okay, I keep getting certain questions. So that's another technique of trying to narrow in on your ideas, is like, what are people asking about? And a lot of times it's about distribution, it's about financing, how can they get their screenplay sold. And so all of these ideas just keep coming to me, and I'm like, one of the reasons why people are having such a hard time is because they skipped all over the business side of it. They don't have a business plan, because I always ask those questions because I want to see. That's my poll of seeing, like, okay, what are people missing in this process? And so when I ask that question, and I ask if they have a business plan, I ask if they have a financial plan, I ask them, have they, even when it had script coverage, to see if you even have a marketable idea. And those are the things that, you know, I decided to teach in leveling up your film business, because I noticed that most people, and I was the same way, you want to sell your story. You have a brilliant idea in your head, but what you don't realize is that you may think you have a brilliant idea, but is that concept marketable? So the next skill that you need to consider is, what are your skills? So when you're coming up with ideas, you think, okay, I'm good at filmmaking and specifically producing and screenwriting. I come from a business background. I got an MBA. So I'm like, okay, leveling up your film business is about film, and which is the producing side of it, and then which is the business side of it. So I've looked at the skills that I already have, and that is how I'm like, okay, this is what I want to teach about. And so you'll do the same thing for a movie. So say for instance, I used to be in the Army, so I'm like, okay, I got all kind of stories from the Army. Or I was in a relationship one time when I was like 20 years old and I had a stalker, you know. Okay, I could write something about that. So basically, just looking at your life experiences, you can come up with ideas. Okay, so another technique that you can use is think about something that is trending. Say for instance, when Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith had their whole entanglement thing. Well, now I see they got a movie out there that's called Entanglement, you know what I mean? And so for instance, with leveling up your film business, the reason why I chose to do this and do an online course is because I don't know if you heard of the creator economy, but it's a $1 billion business that basically all of us creators, whether we are on doing online courses or whether we're on YouTube or any kind of social media platform, basically people are creating businesses from that, and that is trending, and it is expected to be a $1 trillion business. So it's like, you know what, maybe I need to jump on that train because that is the direction that the world is going. And so that is how, you know, I came up with all of my ideas to do leveling up your film business. And so once I came up with all those different ideas, that's when I created an outline, and you would do the same thing with your ideas for a script. So once you have narrowed in on exactly what you wanted to do, then you be like, you know, okay, I'm going to create an outline, and this is what I want to do, and you're going to put it in order of how you want it to be presented. I don't have a closing on this. That is my spiel on how to come up with ideas. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, do it now, and the notification button as well, so you won't miss any of the content that I will be providing for you. Oh, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram or any of my other socials. You can find the links below. Alright, so that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time.